Hello, I'm BXToycat and welcome back to another episode of my Minecraft Xbox Update Adventures Let's Play. This is the Let's Play where I've been playing through the various updates that have come out for Minecraft on the Xbox, building stuff, killing stuff, and of course, destroying stuff. And in today's episode, I'm actually going to be working on something a little bit more productive than normally because I'm excited that I can now work on my nether. I've said this a few times now, but because in the old world, I was used to resetting my nether once a year or so, I never really built too much there, knowing I would delete it in about a year's time because that's how the console edition worked. But now I'm on the bedrock, the more... I mean, now we've got the regular, system. Basically, my nether is going to be there to stay. There's no real thing, assuming no bug happens, that will cause me to delete my nether. So what I'm going to be doing today is bringing a whole bunch of stone, and probably, I guess, stone brick, because it looks a bit fancier, to the nether, and I'm going to be making myself a few little tunnels between my major portals, because ghasts in the nether, even though now it's nice, because we can have a consistent nether, the truth is there are ghasts everywhere, it seems. Every time I go to the nether, there's ghasts, they're loud, honestly, the noise is 80% of why I'm doing this, but they're loud, they're, kind of frustrating, and also they blow you up, and sometimes I get, the route I take from my portals to portals is just super dangerous, so I figured why not fix it just a little bit. Also, fun fact, you can't actually craft in nether portals in Minecraft Bedrock. It's one of those weird things that's just I found that out, and you can't even open your inventory. Here's my inventory open now. If I try to open it going in, it closes it getting in. I don't know why that is. It's just a fun little fact. Before we actually do what we're intending to do today, which is, as you can see over here, make a route over to there, because again, I've got, actually, that random blaze is weird, but I've got a portal just behind that wall, and then I've got a portal a little bit further than that wall, which goes to the end, and then even further than that, I've got another portal, and right now, I fly between them, and I go through the, I made myself a little pathway through the lava, but I figured rather than having to do that, why not just have a dedicated little pathway, because I also have going all the way over there somewhere, if, I always lose it, but I have another pathway, which is just going through the netherrack, and I think going through netherrack is fine, but when it goes outside of the, oh, wait, is it over there? Where is this little tunnel? I know it's literally just over here somewhere, but it's hard to spot sometimes because you know how the nether is. It's very same-ish looking, but just over here there is in fact a tunnel, and that tunnel, it might be that thing down there. It's not that thing down there. So yeah, basically finding stuff is tricky, but we're just gonna start it and then we'll link it into that tunnel because I've decided the tunnel doesn't exist. The fact that I think there's a tunnel is just a figment of my imagination. So yeah, we're gonna be building a huge kind of tunnel-like thing, but oh god, see, because that is the reason. Wherever the ghast is right now, I just heard it. Did you hear it? Maybe I'm definitely going crazy, but yeah, because of that, I figured let's work on this. So yeah, a cool thing about the nether that's also look at this. It just turns stack by stack into stone brick. That's a really cool animation to watch, right? But yeah, so we're just gonna start here, I guess, and then build across. Yep, that seems as good an idea as any. And let's just hope we don't get knocked off along the way, because bad things will happen. And that blaze is definitely trying. I don't know much about what that blaze's goals are, but one of them definitely includes trying to knock me off here. So let's just take a small step back. Well, by a small step, I mean a few runs, and let's do that. So yeah, we're going to be mostly building with stone bricks today, just getting a few consistent pathways, because look at this portal. It's so uglily set up and everything, so I figured that, it's just kind of key stuff we should do. And stone brick's just a fancier, because pro tip, in the nether, there's a certain number of blocks that can be blown up by ghasts. The biggest example is netherrack, but also dirt will be blown up by them and a few other blocks. However, if you use, stone or stone brick, already there's a bunch of different resources that won't blow up in the nether, then you don't have to worry about that. And given that your portal can be blown up the moment you land in the nether, it's important to have even your very first, stuff, say this for instance, properly connected up. So as you're going to see, we're just going to have a nice little thing like this, have an exit if we want to go straight out, but then also be mostly safe even then, because you want to minimize the pathways that ghasts have to either, one, set your stuff on fire, because that's annoying, but two, blow up your portals. Having your portal being blown up, even if you happen to have a flint still on you, it's just not a good thing. So anyway, that's enough pro tips of Toycat. I know you're all here to hear about the breakfast talk. That's what this is really about. What we're doing today is just a elaborate ruse so we can talk about everyone's favorite meal of the day. Although it's not actually what everyone's favorite meal of the day, but no, I wanted to actually talk first of all about what I've been up to this past week, because as always, this Let's Play, a lot of people like it as kind of a vloggy style thing, of knowing what is going on with Toycat today. At least that's how I imagine it. I mean, I guess I can't say for sure what you're imagining in your head because you are a person and I am an internet cat. But yeah, a lot of people, that's what you're curious about. So to kind of answer that question, honestly, not a whole bunch. I've been mostly preparing because I am about to leave in 2 weeks now, a little bit. Actually, I think it's a week as this goes live. So exactly a week from now, I'll be taking the longest flight, not only that I'll ever take, and that, you know, because like flights are gonna get faster, and also I'll never have to go somewhere so far. But yeah, because I'm going to the opposite side of the world, New Zealand. It's exciting times, but because it's such a long thing, I have to like kind of do a bit of planning, because one of my big things in life is like I feel like you've got to plan for something, or you've got to go in entirely blind. And for something that is like as big of a deal as like, oh well, I mean, this is probably my only time being in such a far-flung corner of the world, I'm like, you know, let's take advantage of it. So been doing a lot of planning for that, as you probably could expect, and also in terms of like the YouTube stuff, I don't just like kind of want to. I need to be pretty ready in terms of like having some videos ready, and also I need to, you know, work out what recording stuff I'm going to have, because Minecraft Switch is coming out then, and knowing my luck, something else big Minecrafty will happen. Basically, there's a lot of like little tiny things I've been planning. It's kind of, you know, I like to describe my life in like two phases. There's like really, also, should we go down and get those things? I guess we should, because we need to make a staircase up from here anyway, right? Yeah, we kind of do. I'll see what I mean? When your portal blows up, bad things happen, and then you get set on fire too. See, no one wants any of that stuff, so let's stop that being a thing that does happen. And also over here, you can see I've got some stone, but let's make this even better than just a stone barrier. Let's make it actually effective. So yeah, going back though to my previous point, which honestly I've entirely forgotten. No, it was yeah, it's about preparing. I like to consider like my life being like two phases, and I think honestly like this is like how life kind of is. Like you need to enjoy every part of your life, but you also need to have like big things to look forward to. I don't know why, but I think one of the big problems with, again, I'm fascinated by billionaires. I'm sorry if this comes up every Let's Play. But like, I think one of the big problems with being a billionaire, like for instance, not true, so Minecraft, is that like if your instinct, is probably like to just make everything always amazing, right? Like, oh yeah, well, I'll just make every day like a holiday. If you're on holiday every day, it's great, right? Because, you know, when you go on holiday once a year. Also, like, I knocked that whip skeleton so far. When you're on holiday, you're having a great time. Why not make every day a holiday, right? It seems like a good idea, but I mean, obviously, there's a billion reasons why you shouldn't do that. And the simple one is just I feel like having some form of change in your life is a good thing. I guess even for the worse, I would never do it that way. But I imagine, like, if you're the sort of, like, again, let's imagine you're a billionaire, that you can make every day a dream. You wake up on the beach of some island and, you know, you've made it. I think I would recommend an idea called the anti-holiday, where once a year, you go out and you deliberately go for a terrible experience. Like, you deliberately get mugged on the streets of Rio de Janeiro. You have a cold shower every day, 3 times a day. You know, you don't eat well enough, like, you only eat 1.5 meals a day. And you make sure to get food that you're not sure is safe. I know, like, there's a billion, like, again, this is objectively a bad idea, I know. But on the level of, like, you know, wouldn't that be interesting? I think it would, right? I think it would enrich your life in a good way. Obviously, no one does that. No one does anti-holidays. And if someone did an anti-holiday, I think the world would look at them kind of crazy. Like, it's weird that there's so many interesting ideas out there that you kind of have to look at and be like, well, that's a cool idea, but you should never do it, because if you do, the whole world will look at you and be like, well, that person has just lost their mind. But again, pro tip right here, if you ever become a billionaire overnight, which is impossible, by the way, like, I think even win the lottery, you become like a 100 millionaire at best. But if you become a billionaire overnight, my recommendation to you, because I know this Let's Play is mostly listened to by potential future billionaires. I like to believe that anyway. But yeah, in case that happens to you, take anti-holidays. It's an idea I had just now on the spot, but I think it's a great one regardless. But yeah, so anyway, because of that, so to go to New Zealand, it's like a big deal, like in my mind at least. I know like some people like maybe that's something you do all the time. That's fine. But to me at least, it's like it's a big once in a maybe lifetime thing, because it's so far away. And because of that, like I've been super hyped about it, because not only is it like a cool enough thing by itself, but I'm also, you know, I'm really into flying, so I'm like doing something I haven't done before. It's like going to be a crazy nice flight, flying with like the nicest airline that flies the route on the longest scheduled flight in the world, which one, makes for like a cool vlog opportunity. Probably will be on the second channel, not this one, but we'll see how that goes. But 2, I think it also is like, you know, it's one of the most exciting things I'll have done this year. It's something I've been like, I booked it back in January and I was like, oh, 5 months away, it's forever away, but I was still thinking about it like non-stop, like, yeah, in 5 months I'll be doing this thing. And now it's like actually happening. There's this really weird moment where like something goes from being like a vague idea in your mind. Also, I know this is going to look ugly, but I kind of want to do it anyway. I'm going to have a little, like, walkway in between, like, just like this, before we go up some more, just to hope it matches a bit better, because I'm still not sure what's going on here. But, yeah, back to what I was saying. So, I feel like there's this weird thing in your mind where suddenly something that you're really excited for suddenly goes away. Like, this is one of the big, like, bad feelings, and I've had it, like, a couple of times this week where I was like, oh, this thing I've been thinking about for, like, months suddenly went away. And I think it's this really bizarre feeling in your... I don't know what I even describe it. Maybe everyone doesn't feel this, so I guess you can let me know. But there's this bizarre feeling where you're like, actually, that's not so cool. I was just excited because I didn't have it. You're like, that's lame, Twigcat. Why do you even care about that or something? And it hit me in like the biggest like batches, and it seems to like strike time of day. Like I'm either super excited for it, or I'm actually like nervous. I'm like, I don't really even want to do this sort of thing. And I think that's a really bizarre. Also, I think we're just underneath this now, so we have to like go to the right a little bit. Yeah, if we make a little staircase thing here, and then we head this way instead, it'll be all fine. But yeah, this is definitely not going according to plan, to say the least. So we'll just get 2 of our staircases back. No, we won't. Place these over here, and then we have to go up there, and then try and link in with that. Actually, we'll go this way. We'll go up like that, so we can link in with what we're to get. And then we've got ourselves a functional little staircase right there. And also we have to, well, I'm covering it, but that's a whole separate thing. So even more staircases from wherever I put my crafting table. I should just make another one. I know I've got a problem with that. But yeah, like the concept of finding something that you used to find super interesting, not so much anymore, is a really weird one because it seems to happen all the time. Like when you think about doing something cool with friends, like when you're not doing something, you're like, I wish I was. And then sometimes you're like, oh man, I really don't want to be doing this tonight. But I think that's the reason why plans and like forcing yourself to do stuff is good. Because just because you don't want something in your current frame of mind, it doesn't mean you won't ever want it. But the problem is like in that frame of mind, you're like, no, I don't like this. And I think I felt this way of like, I guess, minor depression before, right? Where you're like, nothing will ever feel good ever again. I can't imagine a situation right now where I'll be excited about something, where I want to do something, and then all of a sudden I'm like, actually, I would like this. It just comes out of nowhere. And I think it's really scary when you start to think that you'll never think something again. Or like when you start to believe that how you feel now is how you feel forever. And I think one of the biggest ways to be in control of yourself, because I've said this before, but like real superpower would be control over your own mind or whatever. But the real power, also I guess we'll just go single tunnel through here, just to see where it goes, honestly. But I think one of the real powers to have over yourself is to be able to just literally control your emotions. But I think one of the biggest steps towards that is trying to accept that you right now can't, like you don't get to decide everything for you in the future. The best way to think about yourself, because I know this is like a whole existential thing, but like you've got to think about yourself in 3 forms, right? There's you now. Also, look at my map in the Nether. It looks really great, right? I know I need to stop going around the place, but we're gonna check it out just so I can show you how fast you can move across your overworld map, because you're moving at 8:1 speed. But you right now doesn't control. Like you need to think of you right now, you in the past, and you in the future, as either 3 people, or if you want to go really complex, let's say you find that to be too simplistic, imagine like you tomorrow, you a week from now, you a year from now, and then you in the past to you now. You have to kind of balance all of those people together, and I think that's all being a successful human is. Being able to be like, well, right now I want this, but in 20 minutes I'm going to hate myself if I do that. So, I'm not going to do that. You gotta... Also, let's get some pork chops. Why not? So you got to be able to kind of balance the needs of you now, because a lot of the worst mistakes you can make in life, a lot of the bad things in life are things that you do and then feel bad about instantly afterwards. Or I guess you should say you feel bad about things instantly afterwards if you know they're bad for you in life. So being able to like link those 3 things together is good. And one of the scariest things that I still can't properly ever undo is like when you feel like something's lame and like you just have to kind of be like, nope, past me agreed to it, so I'm sticking to it even if I hate it, and then you usually don't end up hating it. But it's super weird that I guess your brain, your emotions work that way, and it's also like a whole existential crisis when you realize like if I think of me as 3 separate people, then which of the 3 am I most? Am I me most right now, or am I me in the future? But again, that's like a whole thing you can get into. I'm not gonna get in the way of you and arguing with your existential crisis. I'll just say it is like a whole a whole thing I think about on a semi-regular basis, I guess. So, besides that, though, so I've been super excited about, so you don't know, flying to Auckland, New Zealand, on a business class Qatar flight. Basically, it's going to be one of the nicest flights I ever take, and I got, like, a really cool, fun thing on it, which is great. And it's just, like, it's going to be a wonderful experience. I try not to, like, even though I'm super excited about it, I think it's important not to, like, talk about it too much, because, like, you know, I think one of the big problems I've always had with social media is that a lot of, or like, I guess, maybe it's just the social world in general, and I see it through social media, but a lot of the things that people post, or like try to make seem like they're the best things they ever do, are usually the things that are just expensive and exclusive, right? And although I think, you know, doing expensive, exclusive things is fine and good even, and, you know, like a thing everyone does at some point, you know, like expensive and exclusive to them. Everyone has different standards. The billionaire only feels exclusive when he's on the $150 million yacht, right? Like, oh yeah, well, I mean, I went on a yacht last night, but it was a 50 million yacht. Oh, like we're in the poorhouse again, you know, like that's, I'm sure they don't actually think like that, but, you know, everyone has their own relative standards, but I think it's, like, really dangerous to just, like, blindly accept that those things are good, because in your brain, the thing, like, even though I said it like that, I think most people in their brain, they're just like, oh yeah, there are some things that are really nice, the things we do rarely, and it goes back into that whole vacation mentality, right? Like, where you like the things that you do very little, and most of the things you do very little are because they're expensive and therefore exclusive in terms of money, or because they're exclusive in terms of exclusivity, like, oh, only you get to do this thing. And I'll admit, this same thing happens to me, like, whenever I go to, like, a convention and there's, like, a secret room just for, you know, like, special guests or whatever, they'll call people like that, I'm always like, oh yes, I am special, and I'll, like, mentally have, like, a 10-second moment. But I think posting and trying to, or I guess, yeah, basically what I'm saying here is, like, posting about it on the whole socials, like, it, oh man, every time. I think that is where you start to reach the realm of dangerous, maybe, because I think, I don't know, but personally I think it's like, you know, your version of, like, something cool isn't going to be someone else's, but if you post something that, like, supersedes someone else's, whether directly or indirectly, I think that's kind of not a good thing. That's my take, at least. So yeah, I try not to be too big on it, because, again, I think a lot of YouTubers, especially young ones, you know, I'm young too, I'm sure. Well, I mean, I am young, right? Like, that's, by any definition, I hope. I hope I'm young still, but is 23 young in 2018? I don't even know anymore. But, yeah, basically, given that there's a nether ceiling there, I think we can just kind of build into this. So we'll remove this block and this one, and then we'll just kind of build around this and make it, yeah, that seems like a good enough idea. But, basically, yeah, I feel like a lot of young YouTubers especially have the issue where they're just like, well, I got some successful YouTube videos, now I have money, and therefore I'm going to turn, you know, I think it's called flexing, right? I just realized, like, I'm trying to describe this whole concept, and I just realized there's a term for it these days. It's called flexing, right? Where you're like, oh yeah, just doing rich people things. And that's a really bad thing, I feel like. Just because, you know, like, when you try to do something great, but it's only good because you're trying to exclude some amount of, some number of people from it or whatever. I don't know if that's my thing. I'm sure there's a whole reason you need to do that, and I'm sure there's a billion reasons for it to exist. But it's, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable personally. So that's why I try not to talk about it. Even though it's like the biggest, most exciting thing, I'm like, you know, let's just chill. Let's just only mention it when I really, really, really need to. And try otherwise stay away from it. And maybe that's a weird thing. Maybe that's why. I think that's a thing I do different to other social media people. If you can even call YouTube a social media. I was thinking about this recently, and like, because YouTube doesn't really have community features, it's arguably not even like social media, right? Like, it is definitely media, but like, you're not, and you are talking to people, so there's an element of socialness to it. But is it social media? Because it seems like there should be like different requirements for that almost, right? At least that's how it feels to me. So now we've finally filled in all these little, actually, there's weird little gaps here because I messed up the placement. Now we filled in these little gaps from this side at least. Oh, actually, we need to put up a wall over there too, I guess. Actually, no, we'll put the wall right here, just so it looks more whatever I just said. So yeah, as well as thinking about the whole. Again, I hate that there's a regular word for it because I hate certain words like that. Like flexing means when you use your your arm muscle. But, you know, I'll just say, yeah, flexing's bad and stuff, I think. That's how you can summarize my opinion very, very easily without too much more thought. So we're going to hop... Oh, that's active nether portal spawner. Oh, blaze spawner. So we're just going to work a little bit more on this stuff while I talk about what else has been going on. Because as well as just the big fight, forts right there, the big excitement followed by like, oh god, why am I excited? Followed by like, oh, I'm really excited again. Which again is like a really bizarre thought, because it makes you feel super, super, super strange when... I feel like when your thoughts change quickly on anything, it's scary. I think that's what most things are. But anyway, so as well as that, I've been thinking a little bit more, because a lot of people last week... So, again, I've said this before, but like, when it comes to YouTube comments, they're pretty terrible in most places. But when it comes to the YouTube comments on the Let's Plays, they're at least better than normal YouTube comments. Like, I feel like the coolest portion of the subscriber base, whether it's the ones who have been around the longest, or whether it's just the people who like actually care about me as a channel rather than just want to get something from me. I'm not sure what it is, but when it comes to YouTube comments on these videos, I like them a lot. I read them every single week, and a lot of people were very much down with Supreme Leader Toy Cat, which was like a fun little joke from last time. And I was thinking about it, because I tried to raise the point in that video that like, if you have a Supreme Leader, they're going to make some weird decisions, because everyone has their own little values. And I figured I didn't really leave a great example of it, so I was trying to think, like, what is the most bizarre opinion that I would probably try to force on other people? And it's really hard to call your own opinions bizarre. Most people who have really crazy beliefs just think that those are normal to have beliefs. Like, yeah, I mean, of course I believe that we should just shoot people because they're waiting in the line too long at McDonald's and won't just use, you know, the self-checkout machine, except I can't use it because my card's not broken, so just use it, it's a lot easier. You know, like, there's stuff like that where it's like, everyone thinks they're normal. Or like, I think I said once, like, what if we shot people who stood on the right on an escalator when you... Sorry, stood on the... I forget which direction it is. You know, when there's a clear direction, you're meant to stand on the escalator, and you're meant to, obviously not on the other one. People who don't obey that simple rule, I think I once suggested shooting them. But, you know, I think I did that jokingly. But a real opinion I have, that if I could enforce it, I think it would reduce, like, I guess, animal cruelty. Because I think when people are like, oh, yeah, everyone should just not eat animals, I mean, that's impractical, right? Like, there's a billion reasons why. But what I think isn't impractical is a ban on eating meat if you're drunk or if you're, like, too tired. I think that if you're going to eat meat, you've got to, like, celebrate the experience. And the reason for this is because there's... Here's an effect, I think only I've ever, like, noticed it. Because as far as I can tell, no one else has ever mentioned this. But there's something I like to call meat blur that happens when you try eating a burger. Or, again, even just good meat. I'm sure a steak... I would never eat a steak while tired or drunk or something like that. But maybe, if you've done that, one, in my version of Supreme Leader Toy Cat lore, you would not be allowed to. And two, you definitely don't enjoy meat as much. Because every single time that I've had Five Guys, again, after a drink, or even just when I've been tired, in the moment you're like, yeah, this is so good. But if you try to remember it back, even 20 seconds later... You kind of arrive at this point where you're like, you know, that was a good burger, I think, but I'm trying to remember any of the tastes, and all I have is, again, what I like to call meat blur. There's just, I'm trying to remember the flavor, and all I'm getting is, like, it was vaguely meaty, and to me, that seems like a, you know, an animal died for that, you know? Like, we should, we should have, like, a tiny, like, don't get me wrong, I eat more than the average number of animals in my life, so like I'm a bad person according to other people that would probably advocate this idea. And you know, I definitely am. Like I think I'd even go as far as say like I'm mildly anti-vegetarian and I think I'm mildly anti anyone who tries to annoy me about my beliefs, I guess, or about anything that I care about. If you try to force me to do something that you believe in, you know, like I would, then you know that's kind of the thing I'm not too down with. So yeah, I would personally say, you know, the big thing we can agree on though is that like if you're drunk, you should need to have like a license to like eat a Five Guys, I reckon, is what I'm really saying here, or like a burger in general, or you know, a good one. Like you can eat McDonald's if you're drunk as much as you like. That's fine with me. Because, you know, it's kind of a meat blur already. But, you know, when you eat good meat and it turns into a meat blur, it's kind of like a waste. And it's like, you know, that is like an animal had to be raised, lived for all those months, years, etc. And then just demolished and forgotten 20 seconds later. And it kind of goes back to my earlier point, right? Where I was saying how you need to balance, like, future you, past you, and current you. I think if you're going to do something bad, at least have it be something that benefits future you. Like, I think if you commit a bank heist, like, I mean, obviously, pro tip, if you're watching me right now, don't commit bank heists. But I think, like, you can at least understand that people are like, oh my gosh, see what I mean? What I'm saying? This is why we need this. I don't know where that noise even came from. I guess down there somewhere. But, basically, yeah, that's been a whole thing. So, yeah, balancing past you and future you. If you do crimes for future you, I kind of get that. If you do crimes for current you, I think they're the worst. They're the bad crimes, right? They're the ones we're not a big fan of. Crimes of opportunity, I guess. They're the ones that signal you're a bad person. In my opinion, at least. Like, stealing because you know you need to feed your family. Everyone agrees is, like, okay. There's even a lot of countries, Switzerland, I know, for example. If you steal bread under a certain amount of value, and it's proven that you have less than a certain amount of income, the fine or the prison time or whatever the punishment is, I actually forget right now, that goes significantly down. Because they're like, yeah, well, you need to do it because, you know, it's... We collectively feel responsible. Like, we feel like it's less bad than someone who is just like, I saw free bread and I'd still eat, yeah? You know, that's at least my understanding. Because I feel like doing crimes for, like, future you is like you know, you're being a better human when you focus on all of the yous, and you're being a bad human if you only focus on current you. So, if you're watching this video and you're thinking to yourself, you know, I do only focus on current me, then maybe you should stop. And anyway, yeah, so this past week, I've got one thing I've been doing, which is, like, trying to deal with my hearing. So this is just, I guess, also a PSA. If you have bad hearing, but you know it's not, like, hearing loss or whatever, then maybe you have an earwax problem. And if you do, one, I guess you can go to, like, I was going to say a dentist, like a doctor, I guess, is the word I'm going for. And they will, they'll blast your ears with water and try and get out there. Or two, you can put olive oil in your ears, which sounds ridiculous, but Google it, it's a real thing. And so yeah, I've been slowly fixing up my ears this past week. Because one of the worst things in life is when you're talking to someone and you have to go like, what? Like, and after the third what, you're like, oh, and you laugh, and they're like, I asked you if you thought the genocide in Iraq was funny, and they're like, oh, sorry, I heard, I didn't hit you at all. Oh, you can place stairs upside down in front of you, like that. Fun fact I only just learned right now. So if you want to place them this way, you have to go like this. But yeah, so with that said, yeah, like, I'm so, like, I'm really good at hearing people from context, so I only make the mistake, like, once in every, like, 100 times. But when you do, you can, like, feel the... In fact, I feel it when someone does it to me, too. That's the worst bit. Like, I should be more understanding of this problem because it happens to me, but apparently I don't. Like, if someone, like, you know, laughs at the wrong thing to me, like, if I ask them a question and they laugh or whatever, I'm like, well, I guess that shows you haven't been listening this whole time. Even though I know that's obviously not what happened, it's still my brain is, like... telling me about them and, you know, their activities, or whatever. And one, I just think that's terrible. And two, if you ever meet me in real life, I don't know, I guess listen to what I'm saying, and then there's a chance I won't listen to you, but, like, I swear I'm listening to everything else, because I'm really good at guessing by context. I just make a mistake one every 100 times, and it's painfully awkward and terrible, and just, what I'm saying is, please don't hate me. But with that said, should I remove this nether rack above the staircase? I kind of like this, like, staircase up, staircase down thing. Like, I don't know why, there's something beautiful about this design to me. Like, maybe you don't see it, maybe you don't like it, but to me, I like this a lot. But yeah, let me know, first of all, do you like my build I made today, or do you think it's a bit too, like, stony, blocky? Should I put some stairs around it so it looks a bit more fancy? Maybe, because from underneath it looks terrible, but I'm just hoping you won't see it from this angle. You got any ideas on how I can improve it? And also, I asked a question earlier, I forgot what it was, but I probably cared about it when I asked it, because I remember asking it. So, if you think I cared about the question, then let me know what that was, and then I'll work it out based on the context from the comments. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Soon, I'm going to be going around my entire map and exploring that. And also soon, you're going to be seeing, because I'm doing a Toy Cat podcast thing over the time I'm in New Zealand, you'll see a big project I've been working on in the background of that. Or I guess you can just see it when it's done in a future Let's Play. But yeah, I've been really, really excited this past week working on that. So, I don't know, maybe you like that. Maybe you don't like that. Maybe you don't like Minecraft. Maybe you don't like this internet video and you watch it because it gets your hate impulses out in the world. I don't know why you do anything. All I know is that I hope you all enjoyed this video because I'm going to see you all... Wait. Sorry, this has to be perfect. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed it because I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.